In this world, angels live among us. Many great invincible beings of immeasurable power, a bridge between us and the gods. These creatures are not as you might imagine them. While some are human-like in their appearance, most are alien. A sitting mountain, a giant boar, a hovering sphere. Each of the angels provides a powerful boon to the surrounding area and its inhabitants. They do not speak to us. They do not move. We built our world around them. They shaped our cultures. We rely on them. Until something dark came along. Now, one by one, the angels have been slain. The people of the lands around them slaughtered. A wave of death is spreading across our world. Only a few places remain as a final bastion of life. Only a few against an endless horde of oblivion. And within these few, a single band of unlikely heroes, bound by forces beyond their understanding. In this world, there is only a single word that describes their soul-bound connection.
We return to the No-Lands Forest, the sort of broken, empty, skeletal husk of a forest that once stood as a vibrant and wonderful woods, has now been replaced by a sort of empty, dead, cold, lingering nothing. You four, probably a couple of you look pretty battered. A couple of you look a little bruised. I think everyone looks a little exhausted. What state do you look in? I think we sort of ended on you guys finding a sort of little clearing. Thrak sort of collapsed against a tree and just slid down a tree, I think, something like that. How are you all looking? Bear in mind, you've also been traveling a lot of the time, so your clothes would be dirty, on top of the fact that you've taken all of these wounds. You're probably all looking a little bandaged up. You know, there's only so much magic can do to heal your wounds. And on top of that, you've just been through two pretty deadly combat encounters. And while they wouldn't have left you with physical wounds exactly, they'd certainly left you with life force drained sensations. What are we looking at when we go around and see each of you, starting with Thrak?
Yeah, the last thing that happened to me was Jildin dragged me through the muck away from the wraiths, and she just left me there and I fell asleep. I look awful. I look about, 4 levels of exhaustion would look like?
That's right, you've also got 4 levels.
So, which we decided was, I think, a 12-hour flight, and then when you get off the flight, you have to you have trouble renting a car.
Yep.
Like, there's no cars left to rent, and you're on your way to your father's funeral.
That's the level of exhaustion that you're at, yep.
Right, plus I'm also injured, so bleeding a little bit.
Okay.
Yes, I look terrible.
What about Sia?
It's been a day. You see Sia by a tree. I believe we just sat down by this clearing. My back's to resting against it, I can see my compatriots, and I've begun a meditation. As for my constitution, should you be watching, generally speaking, when I rest, I have my little mantra that I do. I have my small wax booklet. I have my crystal, which I draw upon. It's a sort of weird braille. You might see that my hand is shaking a little bit, just a little bit. I think perhaps, our travels so far have taken its toll on me a little bit. You might see, if you look even closer, perhaps, a small spider, the size of a fingernail, emerged from my lip as eyes closed, mouth moving as I write about the day's affairs, and then disappear into the back of my hair. I don't usually let slip like that, but I suppose what's the point anymore? I think my general mindset is, well, it's my own.
What about Jilden?
I don't look great. I'm a little bit worse for wear. Got a few scrapes. In fact, I've looked a lot better. I sit there, however, and despite everything, despite my words to Thrak as I dragged his sorry carcass away from the entrance of that place and saved his ass, my demeanor is quite jovial. I sit there humming to myself, dabbing at my scrapes, looking at all of my little trinkets. I have them all out in front of me on my little sheet, as I do from time to time. I seem to be in quite a good mood.
Lastly, Cirrus.
Yeah, I am looking all right, actually. Physically, I look fine. Tired, as usual, in a way that I think the others would be familiar with me looking kind of drawn and tired. And maybe I'm looking slightly more dim than usual. But otherwise, I'm all right. No wounds.
Okay. You find like a sort of an area that seems suitable enough to sit and rest. How do you do this? Do you set up a camp? Are you just sitting down? Are you doing anything in particular as a group here?
I think once we stopped, I just found a tree I found suitable and let Cirrus do what she does best, I guess.
All right. I don't know if it would be appropriate to light a fire or anything of the sort here. It seems everything is very dead and very dry, so I would assume it could be dangerous to light a fire. What is the weather like? Is it cold at all?
It would be cold if you hadn't just come from the Arctic Circle.
Right, okay.
You know, from your sort of perspective of the last couple of years, it would probably be quite warm. But it certainly is not warm, no. We're looking at it would be pretty cold.
Okay.
You can clear the sort of dry, cracked foliage, because underneath there's just dirt, right?
Yeah, okay.
So you could easily make a fire here by clearing just all of the dried stuff away, and then just creating a circle. And there's rocks and stuff. You can create a rock circle, and create a fire if you wanted to, pretty easily, I think. With no real. Right. I mean, you might start a forest fire, but who cares at this point?
Who cares? Yeah, for real. Okay, I would like I'll light a small fire, just so that maybe we can heat some food, make some tea for people. I would maybe make some tea.
Okay. Yeah. Anyone else doing anything specific here?
What kind of tea?
I'm adding things to the teapot.
I watched the pot.
Some herbs. Some things that look a little bit strange, actually. Perhaps a bit suspicious. Something that looks strangely like a toe, or maybe a small furry creature.
Can I roll like a nature or survival or something to see what you're putting in there and if I recognize any of what it is? As being like poisonous?
Yes?
9. Weird
Yeah,
toe, dude.
You've probably never seen anything like this. It's a dried specialty, delicious delicacy. You've probably never seen anything up the north anyway. This is a Midlands sort of item. I've clearly had it for quite some time. You would notice that the pouch I'm picking these from seems a little lacking, as if I've been putting them in the tea every time.
Oh. All right. I don't say anything about it. I'm just watching you.
It's much better. Nice cup of tea. Really warms the bones.
Do I
Got some
trust her?
teas here.
I look at her suspiciously with that offering. What?
I'm sipping away quite happily.
Trying to find out what question to ask here. I want to roll an insight based on, I suppose, your intentions here on this tea. Are you just being friendly? What gives?
Roll it.
18.
I've done this most nights. We've had time to make camp, and I haven't been in a foul mood. I've made everyone a cup of tea and handed it to them without much preamble. And every time you've drunk it, you've felt, perhaps if not healed, a little bit better. You felt warmer, but happier.
If it's the usual tea and she's not pulling a trick this time, then
Maybe you don't pay much attention to how I usually make it.
very well. I accept. My thanks.
I
sit
pour
back
him some
down.
tea into what seems to be the skull cap of a small creature or something. Just a little.
Fitting for our environment, I say, and I give a nod and sip.
Yep. Make use of what you can. No point in going to waste. You want some track? I slap him a little bit. Hey, you awake? Want some tea?
Let me rest.
Yeah, that's fine. It's gonna go cold though. I might drink it. Start sipping on his portion as I speak, and then I sail back.
What is everyone's passive perception, please?
16.
16.
17.
15.
0. I'm dead to the world. I don't. Nothing.
Okay. Never mind. I rolled a 19. Plus
Right, that's great. That's
other
good
numbers.
news.
The rolls continue.
Yeah, I think we sort of see you all sitting around this fire, drinking this tea. Maybe an hour or so passes. You can have a short rest. You can do things that you might want to do on a short rest here. Any stuff that you get back on a short rest returns. How are you sitting around this fire? Is Thrak fully asleep?
Yeah.
Are the other three sitting around the fire, standing up, pacing about, meditating, doing anything? What am I looking at if I were to just take a snapshot here?
I think I found my way to sort of a prayer position, and I know that we are very close to the mountain that we just left, where the angel referred to my angel as a brother, and I know that we're in this forest. At this point, I kind of very much believe in the entities and the spirits of the nature around me. Like, it just makes sense that maybe there's a spirit to this forest. I kind of want to find it a little. Like, I think when we first came in and the trees were talking, I had the idea that maybe the entire forest was the House of Knowledge. It wasn't just one place within it. So I kind of want to see if I find any evidence for that. My hand is on the ground. I'm trying to feel through the earth anything that I can.
Okay.
But I should say I'm not casting any spells. It's just like cleric belief. It's
bullshit.
cleric faith stuff. Yeah. I'm just like, I believe that I can do this. So
Yeah. Give
I
me
would be
either
sitting outside the fire.
give me
Sorry, go
either an insight or an arcana check. Now, bear in mind that if you roll arcana, you'll get a more magical answer. If you roll an insight check, you'll get something that's more feel-based. And Sia, what did you say?
You asked where were we in the camp? I said I would be sitting outside the light of the fire, but where I can watch my party.
Okay.
that is a nat 27.
A natural 27 insight on in this meditation.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Kinda. There is a sense of magic to this forest. The No Lands Forest and the House of Knowledge. They're not one and the same, but they are in the same place. They're in a state of sort of superposition, right? The House of Knowledge is simply hidden with magic. You can be in this spot and you're in the Nolan's Forest where it's all blighted and destroyed. But you can also be in this spot and be in the House of Knowledge, but you're not. Currently, you're in this blighted, dead forest.
Okay.
But you are correct. Your suspicion on that is correct. But not on the whispers. The whispers, you said that you thought that they would be throughout the entire forest, but they are localized to that one area.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask, I know that you just gave me basically everything, but I might as well just ask a follow-up question and you can say no.
Mhm.
But with this understanding, is it a stretch to think that the whispering trees are the door, the entrance point that connects the two, where we can pass through to the House of Knowledge?
For that,
Or
you'll
can
have to give me an Arcana check, but I'll give you advantage because you rolled
Okay.
a natural 20 on this insight.
Okay. 19.
A 19. They're more like a road sign.
Okay.
It's more like, yeah, like this way to the House of Knowledge, if you understand what they are, which you guys didn't.
Yeah, okay. Awesome. I turn to everyone. It's here. The
Sorry,
whispering trees. The whispering trees were like a marker, a way to say, here you are. But the House of Knowledge is here. It's just not where we are. We're in this forest, and somehow we could pass through to there. I don't really know how. Rack might. It's magic of some kind.
People said mortals couldn't get there.
Well, I haven't died yet.
That might be a good time if you wanted to.
We'll see.
Who's sitting down and who's standing up?
I'm sitting down back against a tree.
I'm sitting down.
I'm sat.
All sat.
Yeah, I'm lying down.
Where are your
back.
weapons?
Next to me, on the ground, laid.
My staff is balanced on my knees.
My sword is in its scabbard on my hip.
Okay. I think this lands next to you, Cirrus. An arrow strikes the ground next to where you are. Suddenly you hear a voice from a little behind and above you that shouts out, "You! How are you alive? Speak and answer plainly, or see yourself stuck and bled dry like the rest of this forest." Upon a rocky outcropping, sort of just above a pool of black water nearby, stand two figures. They're wearing sort of odd cloaks of red, covered in foliage, with a crown of green leaves. They sport a pair of long elven ears. Each one has a longbow drawn with arrows nocked and pointed in your direction as a group.
I'd like to ask the same question. You seem to be wearing the same clothes as those dead people we walked past a while ago, no? Red cloaks, pointy ears.
We
How
asked
are
you
you
first.
Well, funny thing. I was born, and then I was here. And how I'm alive? I'm breathing, I suppose. What about yourself? Now you.
How is this possible? One of the elves turns to the other one. You notice that they look very similar. They could be related in some way. Two sort of female presenting elves is what you get the sense of immediately. One of them speaks, the other one clearly doesn't. She turns to the one to her right and says, "By the music of Orpheus, are they really alive?" The second one kind of just glances at her but doesn't say a word.
Wait a minute. You're not Arvandorians, are you?
Yes. We are from Arvandor. Or we were. You.
Well, what happened to you?
You are Turtle.
Yes, sir.
I sort of am just hiding my face ever so slightly from them.
Yes, yes, good eyes. Yes, you folks are known for your good eyes.
Lake or sea? I don't know if you know this, by the way, but it's lake.
Oh, well, you learn something about yourself every day.
Well, you know, I like to go back and forth, whatever takes my fancy.
You see them kind of like look to each other once more and they say, "Why are you here?"
Oh, here, you've left your wonderful forest. It's lovely back there. It's all safe and pretty and safe and full of goodness.
There is no goodness there anymore. It is gone. Worse than
Desperately
this.
packing up my trinkets right now as he speaks.
Do not try anything.
Yes? Look at me. I'm ancient. I can't do anything anyway. What
We
is-
are
what am I
more
gonna
than
do?
just bows and arrows.
Yeah, what else you got?
They don't move. You! With the horns. What are you?
Yes. I am a cleric from Uma.
You are demon's blood.
Dragons. And elf.
From where?
I've completely forgot where I'm
Adis.
from. Just a second. Adis. Oh my god. Adis. The
The High
Everforest.
Elves. To the south.
That's right.
The other one. Is he dead?
Close enough to it, I suppose.
What did this to him?
Himself.
No, that's not fair. I mean, sometimes that's true, but this time it was the strange, wraithy things. What do you even call them?
The death wisps.
Ah, it's a good name for them, yes.
To the point.
Some of them are our fallen brothers and sisters. Again, why are you here?
We seek the House of Knowledge.
Serious. At least give them a bit of foreplay first.
You
Yeah,
believe
no
that it
fun.
is still here.
Can you not feel it?
What do you mean?
It's here. Though I do not know the way there.
Why do you seek this?
I cast my eyes dart to Jildan and to Seer.
Yes. I might as well have already said the rest of it. It's all fun gone already.
I shrug.
We are on an important journey. We seek answers to stop what is happening.
To stop what is happening. It is already done. There is nothing to stop.
I trust you there. I trust. There is. There is.
And what is happening?
The end of everything.
They look to one another and then they say, "From where did you come?"
Far north.
North. From the mountain.
Yes.
Over or under?
Under.
The tunnels, they are sealed.
They are.
There is still life north of the mountain.
Last we checked.
They look to each other. The first time I think you sort of see the bow with the arrows not kind of twitch a little. Do you have food?
Not really. Got some tea. You can have some if you like. It's nice. In fact, some of you guys, you taught me how to make this stuff. It's the good stuff.
How do we know we can trust you?
Have we
Well-
not spoken to you honestly?
Many people have spoken to me honestly and still betrayed me.
Do you hear guile in my voice?
Her face kind of falters. You get a better look at her for a moment. As you do so, you see that both of them look quite gaunt, like they haven't eaten very well. They actually look quite a little sickly, almost. She lowers the bow and says, "I remind you, we are not just bow and arrow. If you try anything, we can hurt you. We will."
We understand. We have no intention of hurting you.
The one that you've been speaking to lowers her bow, unknocks the arrow, and puts it in the quiver. The second one doesn't. Her bow and arrow is still pulled to you, and the first looks to her for a moment. They exchange a glance, and then she kind of slowly puts her hand out, and the second lowers her bow. "We will come down." You see them put their weapons on their shoulders, and they climb quite deftly. Even though they do look a little unwell, they seem to be either putting on a good front, or, you know, they just don't feel as bad as they maybe look. But they climb down very smoothly from this outcropping and move towards you. And as they sort of move towards the firelight here, you do get the sense again that they are potentially a little unwell, but they're quite interesting looking. Here's an idea of how they might look. As she walks forward, she says, "I am Elaine. This is my twin sister, Morgana."
Do they look like how I expect them to look?
Yes.
Do I sense anything off about them? They smell right.
I mean, you can give me a perception check for how they smell if you'd like. I mean, they walk forward. They have these kind of hoods up over their heads. The hoods have the Arvandorian. They almost look like horns to parts of the hood that either stick upwards or fall down, depending on which part of Arvandor you're from. They have robes that wrap around their bodies and just sort of cover some of the leather armaments that they have underneath. They have little rings and strange little adornments over them, as well as lots of foliage sort of intertwined and wrapped into the cloaks that they were wearing. They look significantly different to the corpses of the Arvandorians that you'd seen, because the corpses were really just sort of bones, skin, and hair with the just the clothing. But now that you see an Arvandorian in kind of like with all of their bits and bobs on, and with some of the greenery on their clothing and around their heads and stuff, it has a lot more personality, I suppose, than you might expect. And this is pretty much how they dressed, as far as you're aware, Jilden, from whenever you'd encountered the elves of Arvandor. They look pretty much exactly like the wood elves might be. Pale, they seem a little pale, they seem a little sick, they seem a little thin and gaunt, these two. Mostly, especially the elves of Arvandor, they're the epitome of splendor. But these two look very sickly for elves, which is kind of rare. But they they approach you. They don't smell great. With a 10 perception, they certainly don't smell good. But then again, neither, I think, do you guys. I think these guys smell a little more. You get that sense of sickliness or sickness to them. Not like necessarily like they're carrying a plague, but like malnourished, or there's an element to how they smell that is a sense of unwell, I think, is what I will give you, because a 10 is only so much of a, I don't know how much you're applying medicine to this. But generally speaking, they appear to be pretty much how you would expect an elf of Arvandor. They also sound like they have the Arvandorian kind of accent to their the way they speak. The elves of Arvandor predominantly speak Sylvan rather than sort of Elvish. Elvish is a language, but Sylvan
I said
is
to
also different.
making him a cup of tea after I reboil the kettle and put all the bits in, and I start talking to them. It's probably been a while since you had a good cup of hearty tea. Like it said, look at you. You look malnourished and terrible. This will fix you right up, don't worry.
They approach quite sheepishly at first. You see, while you're sort of studying them, they're studying each of you as well. Their eyes linger on Thrak for a moment, and he just looks like a corpse propped up against a tree at this point.
Oh, he's fine. He's being dramatic. Don't worry about him.
The one that introduced herself as Elaine steps forward a lot more confidently. The other one seems to be a lot more kind of timid, a lot more cautious of you, and you get that sense immediately. Elaine steps forward and says, "Yes, tea would be nice. Thank you." She looks back and she almost gives a sort of scolding glare to her sister, and she says, "Come, sit." And she sort of just gestures to an area on the ground. The twin kind of gives you all one last look. She's got that kind of resting bitch face look that you might expect from someone. She's just kind of moody looking, and she kind of glares at each of you or she's looking at you through her brow, I guess is a better way to put it. But she sort of relinquishes. You see her put her bow down and she sits, with her legs not crossed, but like with her feet, the soles of her feet to the soles of her feet, and puts her hands on the ground, one on top of the other. The other sister says, "My sister, she does not speak. She has not spoken for many, many years. But if she is, she will understand your language. You speak in common."
Does she yelp?
What did you say?
Does she yelp?
Does she yelp?
Yes. You try standing on her foot, see if she would yelp.
Elaine says, yes, she yelp, cry, she can sing. But she does not speak.
Yeah. It takes some years for some of us to come out of ourselves. I serve them up a cup of steaming, hot, herbal-ish tea.
They take the tea, but neither of them immediately drinks it. They kind of look around each of you. Elaine moves to the other side of the fire and sits opposite where Morgana is, and you get the sense that they're just covering their bases a little bit. But she sits in the same way with her soul to soul and her hands in her lap. She puts the cup or the mug or the bowl or whatever you've served the tea in on the ground directly in front of her feet, and puts her hands, one hand over the other, on the ground. You get the sense this is just how they sit, rather than it being, it's almost like maybe a cultural thing. Children, you might be aware of it. It's entirely up to you. I know that you briefly passed through Arvandor.
We had quite a moment together.
Yeah, it's a polite company way of sitting, but it's not how you would sit with friends.
They would recognize the tea as well. This is very familiar tea to them.
Yeah, they're gonna smell it. I'm gonna roll just for.
I don't know. It's been a while since I was with them, so my recipe might be bastardized at this point compared to what they make. And some of my ingredients are missing.
Okay. Yeah, Elaine smells her tea and kind of gives a very slight nod to Morgana.
Delicious bastard tea.
You see them not drinking. They sit and Elaine says, "I am sorry for the arrow, for the approach. We have encountered so many different creatures here. Some appear to be people, some appear to be friendly, but in the end they are death wisps, creatures. The forest is filled with the undead. Is this the word? Undead creatures, things that are brought back wrong. You have encountered them.
Yes. Yes, it seems that they are spread as far as we've traveled. It's a dangerous road. Don't apologize for keeping you and your sister safe.
But there are places where there is still civilization. Towns, villages, people.
The only that I know of is the place where we've come from. And when we left, it was under siege by these undead.
You
I
fled.
do not know if it still stands. We were given a task. We did not flee.
Your
We
task
seek to
is
save them.
to find the House of Knowledge.
Part of it, yes.
She looks across each of you again and says, "Forgive me, but you are not Fae. You are not, you will not be allowed to enter a House of Knowledge."
Yes, we've only just recently learned that detail. But it is important for us to go. Perhaps they would make an exception in this case. In the case of such dire situation.
Do you know how to enter the House of Knowledge? How to gain access? Even to try?
Well, we encountered a group of trees that were whispering, but we were not able to understand the language, and I can feel that it's here, but I do not know how to pass through to the other side.
The trees, they are speaking Ayath. It is, I do not know how to explain, but something between a tree language and Sylvan is from this language, I think. It's the oldest language, I think, that we know of. The whispering trees, they explain what to do if you have the right knowledge. Is House of Knowledge, not House of Music or House of Elf.
Well, we're looking for a library card. Is there anybody to get one? You seem to know your way around the House of Knowledge, don't you? You're asking these questions, they seem leading.
We had the same plan when we ran from Arvandor. There were more of us, but we do not know how to gain access. We know that it is here, that it requires the sight, the knowledge, my sister and I, we are capable of magic. Among our group, we were the most proficient in magics, but even with this, we are not able to find how to get to the House of Knowledge. There are tests, I think, here. We have been trying. but we do not know how.
Our wizard, I gesture towards Thrak, leaned up against the tree. He is very proficient with magic. Perhaps if you're willing to wait while we rest, and we can recuperate our strength, we could work together. Maybe all our heads can make up for the singular knowledge that is needed.
Yes, we can do this. Do any of you have the Quura symbol visible, by chance?
It would be on my arm, yeah. Right
It
here.
would be
Thanks
on
so
my
much.
chest.
Okay. She notices it immediately, as she sort of shifts. She tries to sort of disguise the fact that her eyes rested on the symbol on your arm for a bit too long, and then she sort of pretends as if she's not really like looking around the group, but then she sort of does, and then her eyes linger on Sia's chest for a moment as well.
My eyes are up here.
This you each have this mark.
Yes.
You know what it means.
Not entirely. We got really drunk a few months ago, and, well, one thing led to another. We woke up outside this shady bar, and we all had these tattoos.
I don't like
Why?
this implication. I don't know what to do. Something fate, something destiny, something cooperation.
Yes.
You were no fun.
You are, all four of you, Dusa, Quura is the word. Perhaps.
What do you know of the Quura?
You are soul-bound. You are part of a vine that stretches from the earth up, curling, moving through you and beyond. It binds you to greater forces. This is why you were sent here. Perhaps with this mark you can find the House of Knowledge.
This was the hope.
To make sense, whoever sent you is wise. My sister and I, we came to the same conclusion many months ago. We continued to search, but we did not realize that there would be places that were safe or even alive. Had we known, we would have left a long time ago. They look at each other. There's a... in fact, you can make me insight checks, the three of you, if you'd like.
Oh, yeah.
$18.
21.
It's strange, the way that they look at each other. The first sister, the one speaking, Elaine, looks to Morgana and she's almost disguising an element of malice almost. There's a flash of I don't know what else to call it, but maybe hate, you know, or just frustration, but just the way that she looks at her sister in this moment, after saying that, you know, they should have left, and that they'd stayed. You get this sense that there is, there's a, it's almost, it's a glare. It's a sort of a flash of a glare here as she looks at her sister, and the other sister kind of looks back and doesn't really match the energy, but kind of turns her head and distracts herself by looking at other things around the camp.
Are they truly alone, these two? I think that this entire time, as they've made themselves at home, first things first, the eyes on my forehead this entire time have remained firmly shut, more resembling creases than anything else. But I haven't really been entertaining them. I haven't moved from my spot further from the circle, and I'm looking towards where they came from and about to see if there are more.
Yeah, give me a perception check.
Natural 20 for 25.
Yeah, they're alone. There is no, you don't see anything else, you don't hear anything else. It's oddly easy for you and your elven ears to hear a little further, because there's no ambient noise here. There isn't the fluttering of birds moving through the canopy. There isn't the scurrying of small creatures moving in the underbrush. It is quite literally an empty forest. It's bizarre, and it has been bizarre, I think, for all of you, but especially the two of you with a sort of elven perception. But it does make it easier to pick up on sounds moving through the forest. That being said, you did not pick up on these two creeping up on you and getting closer and closer and closer over the course of the last, however long it took them to get to you. So these guys are extremely proficient with moving through the forest without making a noise. So I'm going to give you the sense that you see nothing, you hear nothing, and you're actively looking this time. So I think you feel pretty confident that there isn't anything out there, but I would imagine it would be hard to ignore the fact that, these guys kind of got the jump on you as well.
Very well. I still don't move.
I think you had no way of knowing that there were other people out there. You can't expect to have known what to do.
Yes, it is true. We are tired, hungry. Everything is gone. Arvandor.
Oh, tell me, how long ago did you lose your last?
I think, and forgive me, it is hard to keep track of the days and months we have been here, but the last to fall was perhaps a month, a little more.
I see. I turn away again.
How many supplies do we have? Like food, rations, that sort of
Well,
thing?
someone or something inside that cave ate all of my rations.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Huh?
Oh yeah.
Huh?
Are we
What?
just like completely out?
Eh?
I'm not sure, some really stealthy rat. Well, maybe one of those creatures inside, like those
Okay. I
bug-eyed
go
rodents.
into bug-eyed rodents. I go into my pack, and I don't have a lot to share just because obviously we have quite a journey and I have to be mindful of how much, but I would like to give them a small amount of my my food. Maybe just if it's like, lumber spread style or something.
You have Linda's bread, she says. She doesn't really. She looks at you and back at the food and says, you are sure?
Yes, I'm afraid I don't have more to share, but hopefully this can at least curb some of the hunger.
We have very little to offer you in exchange.
You can offer us your knowledge and not attacking us.
Okay. Thank you. She almost snatches at the food, grabbing it, breaking it in half and handing a piece to her sister, and the two of them, they do everything in their power to not like blatantly just scoff this down, but it's pretty crazy how they eat. They're like, it's animalistic as they consume this thing. At the end of it, she sort of finishes, some crumbs falling off of her lips, and she looks up, and immediately you see her stiffen up into the position, the polite position that they had taken when they had sat for the first time, and she says, sorry, it is we have not eaten for weeks, not properly.
You don't have to apologize. Not at all.
What are your names?
My name is Thrak. And yours?
She's already told you her name was Elaine and Morgana. Thrak. Okay. Elaine, this is Morgana.
Jilly. Pleasure.
Jilly?
Yes.
No.
Just
Jilly.
like that.
Jilly.
No. Oh, yes.
I have the Wendigo mask firmly back on my face.
Right. Nice to you, Ceres.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I have to look something up in my Google Docs because I.
Gotten your name now.
No.
Who am I? Where am I from? What am I doing here?
I say Fanara.
All right. All of you can roll me deception checks.
Oh no.
But I'm telling the truth.
I feel so bad. I feel so bad for lying to these
What do you mean you're telling
lovely
the truth?
ladies.
Can I
was
have
me all along.
advantage because I'm wearing a mask?
I don't know why that would give you advantage on lying
You can't
about
see
your
my
name.
shifty eyes.
Oh my god.
The worst liars. Why would you even lie about this?
I rolled a 7. C rolled an 11. Cirrus rolled a 4.
Okay, before you go on, at the sight of her face recognizing that I'm lying, I go, was my mother's name. I am Cirrus. Nice to meet you.
She kind of looks to each of you. She doesn't seem to be upset, but I think you all get the sense that she can sort of maybe tell that you were sort of lying, but also, you know, they're not exactly being fully trusting of you either. So lying about your name on the road is not that uncommon, but you get the sense that they kind of get it, but they acknowledge it.
So what are you proposing with this whole Quura thing then? You'll hold hands and dance around a tree maybe? Think similar thoughts?
Well, you have one on your back, don't you, Jilly?
Well, that's not really a tree, is it? That's a sprout, and he's got a name. He's called Sprout. Thrak.
Quite.
Ah.
Jilly.
Well, there are several ways that we have tried ourselves. There were stories in Arvandor of different things that you can do to appease Caridwen and the Fey Stags, but none of them have worked. Several things we are unable to do, offerings and things like this, which with the way that the forest is, it is very hard to provide bountiful offerings.
Yes.
What was your plan?
To walk around in a circle till we got lost and frustrated, then fight ghosts, and then walk back to trees.
But that
So
was your
far-
plan the entire time.
Just so.
I thought you knew what you were doing.
I did. And we're doing it, aren't we?
God. And just help me.
Very well. Perhaps we will wait for your wizard.
Yes, I think that's a good idea.
All right. They begin. You begin a long rest here. The elves sort of make themselves comfortable. There are points where they excuse themselves and they have a couple of private conversations. Well, really, it's just sort of Elaine speaking to Morgana, but you get the sense that they're able to understand each other really well, almost innately, just read each other. I think they probably just speak to you about very surface level things for the time being, just to get through the long rest. Little bits and pieces about Arvandor that you might already know about, how it's just unbelievably beautiful. I think they might explain that they sort of fled when Arvandor was blighted, and that there was a larger group of them that came here. Predominantly the group were killed along with the forest as the spreading blight basically chased them this way, and they were just ahead of it until eventually it caught up. A few of them had survived the initial kind of wave of death, and they were scavenging and surviving until one by one they fell, and the last remaining elves were these twins. And they've just lived off of almost nothing, but they're elves, so they're very hardy, they're extremely long-lived. They can go for a lot longer without food and water, even though it's really starting to take its toll on them. I think each of them will take a nap as well. You'll notice that they don't take a nap at the same time. One of them will stay awake and chit-chat, or, when Elaine takes a short nap, the other sister just sits very quietly watching you all.
When you say nap, are they sleeping like humans or elves?
They are sleeping kind of like humans. It is it is a very short kind of trance-like state, but they do actually sort of fall unconscious in this state. You can give me a medicine or an insight check or something if you'd like, if this freaks you out.
It does.
It probably would.
22.
Yeah, you get the sense that they are extremely unwell. They might be dying. They're literally exhausted to the point of needing to sort of sleep, and it's more like they go into this trance-like state and their body kind of fails them a little bit. So it's entirely up to you whether this is something that you have seen before. In fact, I guess you can make me a medicine check as well.
A 15.
Pretty rare that this would happen. This is the type of thing that I don't know if you'd ever have seen it. Maybe you heard about it. Elves that are so exhausted that they need an actual sort of sleep. Obviously you can fall unconscious. You can sleep if you want as well. You can be sort of injured to the point of a comatose state, or knocked out. But yeah, I think it's unsettling for you that they curl up and they have an actual nap here. They fall into a sort of state of complete unrest or unconsciousness, unrest, an unrestful unconsciousness. But it is also a sort of trance-like state. It begins as a trance-like state, but in that they fall to a sort of unconscious state. But it's weird. It's very weird. And yeah, I don't think it's anything you've ever seen before from an elf.
I remain
A full-blooded
30
elf.
feet away from them at all times.
Okay. The long rest comes and goes. So you get all of your abilities and your spell slots back that you get on a long rest. You're at full HP. You get half of your hit die back. And I think at one point here, eventually, Thrak's eyes kind of flutter open. And Thrak, as you come to, there are two more figures with the group. I think it probably takes a moment for your eyes to adjust. You obviously only lose 1 point of exhaustion.
So I have to ask you a few questions.
Yes.
So are you allowing me to lose 1 point of exhaustion even though I've not been able to eat anything since all of our food was stolen? The rules say that, like, it's kind of up to you, but I think it says you're supposed to have a full meal and a long rest to lose the level of exhaustion.
Well, I mean, this doesn't necessarily have to be the end of the long rest. This doesn't have to be the end of the 8 hours. You might have only been asleep for 3 hours here, 4 hours, and then you wake up now and eat something. A full meal doesn't have to be a full hearty meal. I don't think you guys can expect to have one.
Okay.
But if you wake up here and you have a little something, then yeah.
Well, the other thing I was going to say is I don't think I would wake up. I think I would sleep for like a full 12, 16 hours unless someone woke me up.
Okay. It's up to the rest of the party then.
We're not going to stay here forever, are we?
No. I think around hour 8, I would probably rouse you.
Okay.
Correct. Hey.
Yes.
I'm sorry I can't be longer, but we should move on.
Threat groggily sort of gets up and uses his staff to, and then as he looks around, who are they?
Fellow travelers who may be able to... We may be able to help each other get to the House of Knowledge. I trust them.
All right. What's the plan then?
I was sort of hoping that you would be able to speak with them. I believe that the access to the House of Knowledge is magic in nature. It's here. It's where we stand. But obviously we need to be able to pass through and access it. So I think Elaine and Morgana, they may be able to help us, and you may be able to help them with what you know of magic.
I could use more rest, but I can help as much as I'm able.
All right.
What is it you need of me? Elves?
Elaine sort of introduces herself, and her sister says she doesn't speak, all that kind of thing. and they say, well, Elaine says, you are a wizard who is schooled in magic, yes?
I nod. Yes.
There are several schools of magic. Do you know of illusion?
Yes.
Abjuration
Of course.
and enchantment.
Yes.
We must find these threads in the weave and pull only at them to find our way, but we have yet to be able to do this. It is like baking bread and trying to find only the yeast at the end. It is hard. It is too late. It has become bread. There is magic here, everywhere. We can feel it, sense it. We know that the House of Knowledge is here. We just cannot see it. We cannot find it, feel it. It is a barrier, I guess. What has your investigation so far? What have you learned?
That we're all just a little bit too alive.
Are you asking what we've learned of this place, or what we've learned of world events?
Well, I think we would like to know both, but I was asking after the source, the way through into the House of Knowledge. If it is unaffected by what has happened, perhaps we can stay there. Perhaps it is still vibrant, alive, perhaps there is food. Nothing else. It seems as though it would be protection, no? Whatever this blight is, the creature that did this, it cannot get there. We will be safe.
Wouldn't be so sure of that, but anywhere's better than here, I suppose.
What makes you say that?
The world around us.
But it was an animal that did this. Not
It was
someone smart. Somebody created this House of Knowledge. It is designed to keep lesser beings out, like us, mortals, even, you know, rabbits, goblins, things like this.
Interesting. To equate us to the likes of rabbits and goblins.
Well, compared to the face tags, compared to the angels, that is what we are, no?
I've got a bit of angel right here in my hand. I wave my branch about.
I give you a simmering look.
Maybe it's the key. I pointed towards Ceres and Twist.
Are you handing it to me?
No, of course not.
Oh, okay.
I'm jabbing it at you and twisting like a key.
I see.
She can't help but like look, both of them look at the staff that you're carrying. You know, kind of like quizzically, but they don't say anything.
If you touch it, you will have to die. I put it back away.
Right.
I don't. I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I have a spell called Tongues.
Mm.
This spell grants the creature you touch with the ability to understand any spoken language it hears. Moreover, when the target speaks, any creature that knows at least one language and can hear the target understands what it says. That would probably work on what the trees are saying, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks to this long rest, I've been able to prepare tongues. I have a spell that I think might work for understanding what the trees are telling us, where to go, and perhaps how to get there. Perhaps we should head back to where they spoke.
We know what the trees are saying.
Okay.
They say that it requires vast arcane power and knowledge to open the way.
I look at Thrak.
I think it will only present you with... They look at each other and she shrugs a little. A door? She kind of does like air quotes. A door? But to pass through, you must be... Fey or... I suppose... something more than mortal. Perhaps the mark of Quura will allow this for you.
I suppose we shall see if we get to this door.
It requires, as we said, I think you must look at the energy. It is here. If you are able to attune to the arcane here, you will be able to find the schools of magic. And then you will be able to follow it down the rabbit hole. But again, yeast and bread. We are not able to do it.
Well, there's only one way to find out. Lead the way, Cirrus. The spider in your horns goes...
Why would we need to go anywhere?
We are already here. The House of Knowledge is here. The forest is 2 and 1.
I am tired, but I can try. And I'll find a clear spot where I can draw symbols in the ground, dirt, mud, whatever. I'll draw a symbol for connection, and then some smaller symbols coming off of it. Communication, nature, things like that. And then I would instruct everyone, please take a seat around these symbols, and we will all hold hands.
you want us to touch?
Us holding hands means something different where you're from.
Actually, yes, it does.
And what does it mean?
Well, it's not a very polite thing to do in public, that's for sure. Regardless, you need us to touch for magic.
I
I
think
promise I won't tell anyone,
The-
Seer.
appropriate term is we need, not me.
A scandal to save the world, of course. Well, I extend my arms either way and shrug.
The elves step back, as if like letting you as a group do this. Uh-oh. Cirrus also steps back as she is struck by lightning and killed suddenly.
Just as I suspected.
Are you still
I
here?
would-
It says no, she's gone. I'm guessing she disconnected, but we don't need Cirrus right now. Continue.
Yeah, did we ever? I would I would ask them to be part of the circle as well.
You would like us to help?
Yes. You two have a bond. Perhaps not as strong as ours, or perhaps it is. Who knows?
Okay. Yeah, they step forward. I think. What does the circle look like? Who's holding hands with whom? While I try and figure out, I think Merg's internet dropped suddenly. I'm genuinely impressed my internet hasn't dropped as well, because I think there's been
Yeah.
heat
I'm
problems.
honestly surprised this is the first time it's happened, like, since I've ever been on a show. I would try to, if I could, sit between, well, I just want to sit next to anyone except for Sia. So,
Okay.
but I don't know if I'm pretty tired as well, so I don't know if I would care.
Cirrus is holding Sia's hand.
My other hand is empty. I'm not really searching for someone to grab it. It's just there. I'm kind of vacant to this whole experience right now.
Okay.
I'm trying to choke back the
I
scandal
will-
that is holding the hand of Cirrus.
I will hold Juden's turtle claw, and I'll hold the hand of one of the elf sisters.
Okay. So we've got. It doesn't seem like it'd be important, but we'll see. Let's see. Yeah. So it's.
Be extremely important. Magic like this is very delicate.
It might be.
I think all of us Quura need to be connected. So we shouldn't have a sister breaking us up.
Okay.
I
so,
think that I am the expert in the arcane.
Oh damn. So Thrak is holding hands with, on one side. Oh. Thrak, you're directing people.
Yeah, you're the one
I am
in
This
charge.
is
directing
your
So
show.
Thrak
people.
is
I'll
holding
tell.
the hand of
Yeah,
whom
yeah.
and whom.
So it goes Elf, Thrak, Jilden, Cirrus, Sia, Elf. Right?
Okay, Elf, Thrak to Jilden to Cirrus,
Yeah.
Cirrus to Sia to Elf.
What's that interaction like? Does one of the elves just like grab his hand?
No, they seem very hesitant to fucking join in this ritual that you're having them be a part of. Oh,
Are they going to disintegrate?
they do not.
It's like in Guardians of the Galaxy when you touch one of the gems of power or whatever.
Yeah.
As the elf reaches out to touch me, if she has or if she hasn't, if she tries to, Seer's going to snatch his arm back before she can
Okay.
and ask for a different partner.
Okay. So you want to do this circle again? Okay, so Mergs, just to catch you up.
Yes. Yes, thank you. Sorry,
Thrak
everyone.
has directed everyone so that it is Elf holding hand with Elf, holding hand with Thrak, holding hand with Jildan, holding hand with Cirrus, holding hand with Seer, holding hand with Elf. So that's how it's going.
Okay.
But Seer did not take the hand of one of the elves and instead requested a different circle. So before the elves take any hands, Seer does this and they suddenly look around again. They're holding each other's hands, but they don't break each other's hands, but then they look around waiting to be instructed as to the new circle. The theory is that they don't want to... Well, Jildan's theory is not to break up the Quura and to have that as a constant on one side of things. So you could just swap Seer and Cirrus.
I'll just swap. Yeah, I'll swap. I'll hold Seer's other hand and then the elf's other hand. But the elf would probably get my
His strong hand.
Left
Strong hand.
left hand is
hand.
holding Seer, right hand is holding Elf.
Yeah. Yeah. So it would okay. I can't remember. Sorry, Palomar. I can't remember.
You chose to retcon it to the artwork.
Yes, I've retconned it to the artwork. So whichever
I think he's left.
left, yeah.
I think left is
Okay.
the little hand
Left
in the
his little
artwork.
hand.
Left his little hand. So Seer gets my little hand. I unwrap it and it's like it's
Is it
scale.
like
It
a
looks like a
doll's
dragon
hand?
claw. No, it
Oh,
looks like a
okay.
dragon hand, like a
dragon
dragon
doll.
claw. Yeah, and so it's got like it's got like long talons kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Okay.
I look at the heavens.
Okay.
Still embarrassed.
Why?
So then you hold out a hand for an elf and Thrak holds out a hand for an elf.
Yeah, if it helps Seer, you're upset because you have to hold hands in public. You're the only person who's ever touched this hand.
Oh,
So,
Okay. Do they take out the hands or?
yeah, you instruct them to hold your hands. They
yeah.
again hesitantly hold out their hands. Their hands are freezing, by the way. Their hands are really cold.
Okay.
Very pale looking. They take your hands. Almost clammy, I think. That kind of like cold, clammy, winter, cold hand. Thrak, Elf, Cirrus, Seer, Jildan. Okay, so now you're standing in a circle around the fire or away from the fire.
Well, I drew some arcane runes in the ground. I think we're away from the fire.
Okay.
Actually, no. I drew the arcane runes and they are connecting the fire to us.
All right. Okay, now all together now. 3, 2, 1. Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya. All right. No, this is just we're
Can
gonna.
you tell I've been to religious camps with the speed at which I started
Straight on
singing along
You
with you?
started
Just
singing
right on it.
immediately.
No question.
No one else did. You were the only one.
I'm
We're
in
thinking
character,
about that one
guys. I'm a
later.
cleric.
We're thinking about that one later.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would probably mumble an incantation, but I would be trying to call on the power of Quura, but also the power of just connection and life, and calling out to anyone who would help.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna try to pluck these threads like they're saying. I also look awful right now.
Looking
Yeah.
rather green. Right?
Just so everyone's aware, when you woke me up when I wasn't ready to wake up.
Yeah, right. So, we're going to do a good old-fashioned group arcana check, but I need to work out the DC here. So there is 6 of you. The DC is 108.
Okay.
Oh.
Now,
high.
everyone makes this with a standard check. However, Thrak would make this with advantage, but
I am
is exhausted. So it is just a standard check.
Regular roll.
Regular roll.
He's there.
I've been watching it.
Mama Jama.
The okay. So yeah, give me Arcana checks. You've got to beat 108. That's it.
Easy. No problem.
21.
Give you 2 checks from these
21.
guys.
You stupid.
It's 42.
20?
62. 62.
Alright, seems like my Quura brethren here have started off things quite well with anything over 20. So, naturally, as
He's gonna
Seer,
get one.
I half-assed it with a 10.
72.
10. So what's that
excellent.
at the moment?
72.
72.
Okay, so these guys have a +9. They're really
Oh shit, yeah.
good at this shit. So there's one from Elaine, a 20, a dirty 20, and an
92.
11.
103.
Morgana.
Oh,
103.
No.
What do we need?
108.
108.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I'll go ahead and have
Morgana.
Yeah.
Can I have Morgana roll again with my time thingy?
Yeah, I guess so. Can you? You tell me. I don't know what
It
the-
is part of it is written in there, but
Yeah, it's not just party members. It's like
ability checks.
yeah.
I think it's creature.
Yeah.
If I can double check.
How does it work on BradWOTO group checks, though?
Just needs to get 5 more. So anything above
I
the
think he
7.
can use it on anything. He's aware that he fails. He witnesses. I think.
Around a creature, anyone.
Yeah, I think you and not Sia, not Morgana, but everyone is aware that you feel this kind of energy moving through you. You feel it begin, I think, from the ground up as it sort of moves up from the sort of dead ashen ground underneath. There is a sense not of life but of arcane energy, and it moves up through you. There's an almost meditative state that passes through you. You feel it at the edges of your fingertips, passing palm to palm through each other's hands, and you feel it kind of like turning, almost like turning a wheel. But this wheel isn't. This is like one of those ship's wheels that you would turn, with each of you holding a piece of the what is that ship's wheel called that turns, that brings the anchor up on those old medieval ships. You can feel each of you pushing and pushing and pushing, and almost opening a door, as if you're raising a portcullis by turning this wheel with this arcane energy. But you can feel it giving out under you towards the end, as it the arcane energy isn't enough. The arcane understanding isn't quite there, and I think it's predominantly from you, Thrak, that the arcane understanding isn't there, because no one here knows what it is. The twins have already tried and failed. They just don't understand how to specifically localize those 3 schools of magic, because you're just getting frequencies from all the schools, however you're registering this, all of these different things, and you're having to, like a wall of code, pick out certain little pieces of it. You remember in Fallout you would hack and you'd have to find the words and all of that. It's almost like doing that kind of thing, but with magic, and just finding just these 3 schools of magic, these 3 threads, and you're almost there, but there's just not enough energy being channeled through you to be able to just understand that, and that is why I think you're able to understand that you failed this check, and then you're able to rewind time here.
Yeah. As I'm holding hands, my eyes were closed and then they snap open when I realize we are about to fail. And Morgana tries again, the last piece.
Here we
Of
go.
our circle.
And here we go. The 20 plus 9, a 16.
That is a 108. That is 108.
The 108.
Yeah, it's on the nose. Yeah.
It's on
We
the
need
nose.
5.
Makes it break
We need
it.
5 more.
Wow.
We had 92.
Wow.
God.
Again, you all feel this sensation of a wheel turning. This kind of feeling of together pulling the arcane energy up, and you're pushing this wheel, and as the wheel turns and turns and turns, you feel that door raising, that barrier raising, that portcullis opening. However you determine this, it doesn't have to be the way that I'm describing it. Your character would probably infer this in a completely different way potentially, but it is the same kind of sensation. As this energy is being drawn up, and as each of you enters this sort of state of meditation and really kind of attunes to the magic of the area, you recognize that there's nothing but death here. There is no life. There is no energy in that sense. This isn't divine energy, Cirrus. This isn't anything more than just a very complex and powerful spell, an enchantment that is cast over this entire forest. And as Thrak takes that energy, Thrak, you're able to recognize what this spell is. You're able to recognize that it is an enchantment. It is a spell that is in one way layered onto the forest, and in another is designed to sort of influence the minds of people. It is supposed to get inside your understanding of perception and shift it. On top of that, it is an illusion. It's just a very simple illusion, really. It's no different than an invisibility spell or a minor illusion or really a greater illusion or something like that. It's just a big illusion. At its core, however, it's an abjuration spell, a barrier. It's negating entry. The moment that this all clicks for you, you can see those 3 threads, and it is like a weave that sits across the forest. Part of this spell is that it's supposed to be difficult to understand. Not any old magic user can just walk in and see this spell and understand this spell. But once you see it, you see it. It's a bit like that moment in the Matrix when he starts seeing the code when he comes back. It's just, you are able to understand this. You pull at each of those threads, you take them from the rest of the weave, and as soon as you do so, the spell breaks for each of you that are holding hands with one another, and you are standing in an area that becomes sort of part of a strange optical illusion, as if a layer of the dead forest about you blends with a vibrant green living one. An impenetrable barrier still sort of shimmers faintly ahead of you, guarding this secret forest. At the foot of where the barrier begins, in the area that you're sort of stood here, this optical illusion presents almost like a mirror, mirrors upon mirrors upon mirrors upon mirrors. This trick. Thrak, you slowly allow your eyes to focus in, and you're controlling this spell at the moment. Would you like everyone to see one side, the other side, or both sides? You've got the Nolan's Forest, the House of Knowledge, or you can continue to be in both worlds.
The barrier is still there, right?
You, well, you can see the barrier now. That's the thing. It's almost like you can see the fence that was keeping you out. It's not still up. The barrier is the spell.
Oh, okay. Yes, everyone can. I would like us all to see the other realm.
Okay. The Nolan's Forest disappears from not just your view, but your senses. You're no longer there. The empty kind of forest gives way to a vibrant one. There is even the campfire, and the heat from the campfire goes away and is replaced with a slightly warmer sensation. This sense of spring is probably what would come to your senses. A little warmer, not incredibly warm or hot or anything like that. The trees, they change. This isn't like a mirror world in that the trees that were dead become alive. It's a completely different set of trees that appear before you, but they're completely alive. The ground is thick with lush, vibrant foliage, flowers in all different colors. There is even sort of a sparkling glow to the area around you, as if not just the trees and the grass and the flowers come to life or are alive here, but as if magic is more palpable. You can actually see it glittering through the air around you. There are almost bubbles that are moving through the air, little lights, and you might sort of almost think that you're kind of caught in all of this glitter and you'd breathe it in, but it's just a palpable sense of arcane energy that moves through this place. The sound of a forest appears because this place is alive, and for the first time in a very long time, I think, for especially those of you that were living in Moon, life returns to the area around you, and you catch birds flitting through the canopy. You see something scurry away from you, almost as if you've just suddenly appeared here, and it rushes into the underbrush, a squirrel or something like that. Another thing runs up a tree. There's even a spider that kind of curls around one of the vines that's sitting on the trees here. There is just an endless and palpable sense of life here as you arrive in the House of Knowledge.
Would I... Is from my understanding, since I know the spell, would I know if this is real? Or if this is all just an illusion?
You can give me an Arcana check or an Insight check.
And would I be at disadvantage now?
You still have all of your exhaustion and things, yeah.
Okay.
You're not immediately healed by this place or anything like that.
Yeah. Oh, I get a 26 even with the disadvantage.
Wow. and this is Arcana.
Yeah, that was an incredible roll.
Yeah. This is real. This is a real place. Make me a wisdom save as well.
All right. I think my saving throws are also disadvantage. Natural 1.
Natural 1.
Nature is healing.
A memory comes to you, and you get that sense again of that sort of, that I know that actor, I can't remember his name feeling, and it bugs you. Something about this place, something about the way the forest was sort of superimposed upon the other one, even something about the wheel and how you access this place. There's something here that reminds you of something that you just can't quite put your finger on, but you can't make it out. It doesn't affect the fact that you're fully aware, though, that this is real. What you did here was the Nolan's forest is real. The House of Knowledge is real. They are two forests that exist in the same place.
Right.
It isn't like you've traveled to a different plane, but it's not too dissimilar to that. But you are still just in the world. This is just in existence in the exact same place. They're in superposition.
Yeah, Leah's freaking out in the chat because I got a 19 and a 20, and then the next roll I got a 1 and a 2.
Yeah.
That's
Crazy.
nuts.
It is,
That's
it
so
is,
nuts.
it is
What?
crazy.
It's
Yeah.
It's so apt for where you are right
crazy.
now.
It's
Even the
pretty
rolls are in superposition together.
mental.
The elves now must make me some checks. Let me just
Sorry, did Thrak decide whether or not we were seeing one, the two?
We're all seeing this
you're
world
seeing
right
this
now.
one. You're in the
Just
House
this
of
world.
Knowledge now. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me just roll con saves for them both. Elaine lets go of whomever's hand she had, Thrak's hand, and her sister's hand, and kind of stumbles to one side. There is a moment that you get the sense like she almost passes out. She stumbles and reaches out for a tree, putting a hand to one tree. She looks at her hand for a moment, and then sort of looks back at her sister. Her sister seems to be fine, but doesn't, but seems more as if she seems to be aware of what's happening. She just doesn't react to it as badly as Elaine does. The two of them exchange a glance, and then Elaine looks to you, Thrak, and says, How did you do it?
It was nothing mythical. It was just magic.
I looked at Thrak as he says that, and then to the elves with a half sneer.
Yeah, she looks to you, Thrak, and says, I understand that you have great skill and innate abilities, perhaps, but we have lost everyone. One by one, we have seen our comrades fall, everyone from our home. If you are suddenly gored by a pig, if you are attacked, perhaps there is a panther here. We will not have the knowledge to get in and out of this place. How did you do it? Precisely. Teach us. Please.
Well, I didn't. We all did. I may have been guiding us, or I used the power we all had. And I did exactly as you thought. I plucked the strings. Perhaps you were just using the wrong tempo.
Let's see if they understand what that means. Elaine does. Morgana does. They look to one another. They exchange a smile. Right.
I'm going to take a lute and a harp out of my pack and hand it to them each, or I walk on and start exploring.
Okay. They take the items and look at each other, and you see them. They have a little pack of their own. One fits the what did you say? A flute and a harp?
A lute.
Oh, a lute. So one straps the lute over her
strings,
shoulder.
you know, plucking the strings.
Yeah. And the other one puts the harp in a pack.
Yeah.
They look back and forth from one another, and Elaine, now looking really sickly, very unwell. The crossing over for these elves it seems to have taken a strange toll on them compared to you four. Elaine says, if you do not mind, I will take a moment to rest before we move on.
I hope crossing over doesn't take a literal meaning here. I say under my breath.
This may be the safest place we'll be in for a while. I think taking a rest would be beneficial to me, at least.
I want to try something.
I want to go find an earthworm.
There's gotta be something alive here somewhere.
I dig at the base of the trees, and I'm pretty good at that. I've been in the wild for a long time now, in nature. I know how to look for food.
Yeah. It's stunningly easy to find bugs, worms, things.
Yeah. Lovely. Oh,
And I immediately eat it.
If she dies,
Did you just say if she dies
yes.
and then stop speaking?
Right, I did.
Okay.
You just
My
rooted
eyes
into-
widen a little bit and I look at Sia. What?
We just traveled. Or we're not. She just.
yes, I'm hungry. After traveling
I just.
with an empty stomach. Besides, these things need to eat.
I go from being maybe perhaps like momentarily rigid to just whatever and just like slouch again. The birds in this place. Nah, never mind. I live underground. I wouldn't know.
And
You're
always
well
lived
traveled.
underground.
Well traveled. I went north for a bit and stumbled into an icy place. I'm not as well traveled as you might think.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a good question, though. Does this forest bear much similarity to the forest of Adis, the living forest? It's like pretty magical in Adis, right?
Yeah, no, it's even
A
more
whole other-
palpable. Yeah.
okay.
I'm not kidding. You can literally see the magic here.
Yeah.
You can see it moving through things. You can see the current of life moving through the trees, along the leaves of the foliage. The creatures here have an aura to them. Every single creature here has a slight radiant, soft glow, a silvery glow to it. The eyes of the creatures here, each of them kind of glow with a sort of radiant energy, whites and yellows and things like that. There's a sort of luminescence to everything that's alive here that is it's pretty extreme. The forest in Adis just looks like any old forest. It's just very, very green.
Yeah.
It's everything in Adis has got plant grow in it, you know.
Yeah.
Like it's but here it is it's ridiculous. It's ethereal where you are right now. It's very, very vibrant.
Could I I want to know if I can still use my magic if I'm still in touch with my angel. Could I
Well, I was actually just going to put a hand on your shoulder and whisper, perhaps you could touch our new friends. They look weak.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm...
Oh, and would you be able to find us some food? I would do it, but I'm so tired. And then
How does my earthworm taste first?
Delicious. It would just be the most delicious earthworm. It's
fat.
Yeah. Well, give me I guess you can give me a nature or an arcana check or something, Jilden. In fact, anyone can really do this if you want. We can all do it. Everyone do it.
Nice. A 9.
9.
I want to know if it tastes like I expected to, and if I feel good, bad, normal.
Um, 2016 from Sirius 19. Everything here is Fey, so you just ate a Fey worm.
I thought so.
That
could have been a person you just ate.
Tiny little wings, and it was like, my family. It's the bugs again when we were fighting the bugs.
Delicious.
Yeah, that was a Fey worm. That's a Fey spider. That's a Fey hummingbird. That's a Fey cat. You know what I mean? Moving through the thing, a squirrel.
Okay.
Because
what does that mean? I have no idea what that means.
Well, Fey.
Does that mean they're sentient?
I have to ask your permission before.
They might be. I mean, it could just be a worm. It's just that you're now in kind of as close to what this world has to the sort of the Feywilds. The only creatures that exist here are the Fey creatures. Fey stags. There are golems here. There are centaurs and satyr and stuff like that, which would up the level of sentience and things. There's presumably things like pixies and sprites and things like that. But the creatures that are here are all sort of immortal beings in a way. They're like it's just Fey creatures. It's the inverse of what a demon might be. These are just good-natured, immortal creatures. And they're not invincible, so you can chew and eat one. It still only had like half a hit point. But yeah, that's what this place is. The thing that you had heard, and I think I gave you the information for, is that creatures here have minor ESP. They can sort of read the surface thoughts of creatures nearby. I'm gonna need everyone to make me a wisdom saving throw. Actually, no, a charisma saving throw. Please.
Oh, great.
Oh, good.
Would I... After this, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Charisma.
A 4.
A 19.
A 13.
5.
You're not coming under the effects of anything, but Thrak, you have no choice here. You begin hearing the surface thoughts of everyone nearby.
Good.
The other 3, you can control it. So you also begin hearing each other's thoughts, surface thoughts. But you can turn it off you can immediately access it and stop it. You can also lean into it while you're here. You could potentially, try and actively access each other's thoughts. That being said, let's hear what they are. You all hear the surface thoughts of Thrak. What is it?
Well, it would probably be. I'm so tired. I've got to. Voices! And I would start freaking out.
Okay.
Since I have no control over it, and no matter how hard I try, the voices don't stop. I'm hearing Jildin rattle on, just.
Yeah, what are you
never get
hearing
away from
Jildin
it.
think about? What is Jildin thinking?
That was the juiciest earthworm I've had in quite some time. Don't get earthworms like that in many places anymore, especially not recently. In fact, I can't remember the last time I had a good earthworm like that. Maybe I should get one for everybody. I think they like earthworms. Yeah, what do I care? I make them eat them anyway. They won't know about it. Maybe I'll do it in their sleep.
Just non-stop thinking about food pretty much right now.
What about Cirrus?
Of course I was going to heal them. I can't believe Thrak even suggested that I wouldn't, or that he would have to tell me to do it. I was going to do it in just a moment. I can't believe him. God.
Jesus.
What
It's
about...
actually Mirggles' thoughts. We want Cirrus's thoughts. Possible.
Yeah.
When we think, are they being translated? Are these thoughts being translated? Or if we think in a different language?
No,
Would it be
you
the different
can
language?
understand them. So that you might be thinking in a different language.
Because Seer does not think in common.
Yeah, I think you can understand. There might be some element of a feeling more than direct translation situation going on here, right? Like you would sense each other's feelings about things, but I think you'd be able to understand each other based on the way that the trees and the phase stags and the golems and that speak here. I think that they all have different languages, so they understand each other, so probably that's part of it. So I think you'd understand each other too. But you can play around with it feels like this if you want.
All right.
If you're thinking
Well,
in a
in that
different
case,
language.
If Seer's mind is being broadcast and at the same time he can sense that people can hear him, I think initially you'd hear like a just like breathing clicks, perhaps also interspersed what almost sounds like how would you say, undercommon, but almost backwards. And perhaps, like maybe one or two words in common that kind of rise to the top almost, just like a soon, Faye, soon. It's not sentences perhaps, but every now and then just interspersed with the word soon, I guess, before he realizes what's happening and he shuts off that tap.
You also get the surface thoughts of the two elves that you passed over with, and you hear them saying to each other, "We have done it. He will be pleased. We know exactly how to get through. And now so does he. Perhaps he will finally free us. We must get away from these people. Perhaps they can hear our thoughts." And they both turn to look at you as a group. They hear us. Let's see here. Who looks at them first?
Oh, I do. I mean, yeah.
Tyr and Cirrus. Make me wisdom saving throws.
Holy cow. 11.
16 and an 11. Sia, you make it. Cirrus, you don't. You are unable to move as you make eye contact with Morgana. You are paralyzed, she gives you like a filthy look, and you just feel this sense of strength pass through you, and you are just glued to the spot. Sia, you get the sense that Elaine tries to do the same to you. You get this sense of a strength passing through you as she targets you with an ability with her eyes, and she glares at you, but you're able to still move.
Instinctively, I would dart to her with my staff in tow to attack.
Go for it. Give me
I'm
the attack
immediately
roll.
shouting as loud as possible in my mind so that everyone can hear. I can't move, them, she,
Yeah.
Oof, a 10 to attack.
A 10. Yeah, you move forward, bringing this thing down. The at Elaine.
Yes.
Okay. The you see her sort of. She moves just as quickly as you do. She kind of blurs out of sight. Sia blurs forward with his unbelievable speed. She blurs out of one way as this thing comes down. She moves to one side. She's not reaching for any weapons, but she moves out of the way of it. You can continue to attack. You are all now in sort of a half combat, but I'm just going to see out this first little initial round and see.
Okay. I
So you
jab
can
my
continue to do things. You still have all
Okay.
of your full, hoo-ha.
All right. I jab my staff into the ground. And as I do, purple face spiders start to crawl out from the ground and towards. If these two twins are nearby each other, towards them, they crawl towards them and explode into a purple fire as I cast Fairy Fire on these two.
Okay. Did I have to make a save?
Yes, that would be a DC 14. Let me just double check what Fairy Fire. My apologies, because I am not a spellcaster by trade. Getting spells is a bit odd sometimes. Okay, so they need to make a what's it, concentration, any creature, Yes, a dexterity saving throw, sorry. DC
Okay.
14.
Elaine rolls 5. That's a fail.
Okay.
Morgana rolls an 18.
Alright.
So mate, right, you said 14. So Elaine is covered in this, illuminated in this fairy fire, which gives anyone who attacks her advantage. Right?
Yes, and they can't go invisible.
Can't go invisible. Right. Okay. Does anyone else want to do anything here?
Yes.
You're all like aware. You can hear Cirrus screaming. You see the Seer attack them. You hear, I think, the two of them say, "Quickly, just avoid their attacks."
I cast Entangle under their feet.
Okay.
I will need to make strength saving throws.
Okay. Elaine, 18. Morgana, 20.
Well, I guess they're fine.
Yeah, these
a bunch of plants.
yeah, come rushing up out of the ground. They just dance. It's like they dance. They sort of jump away, and the way that their feet move, you understand suddenly how they were able to sneak up on you. They don't make a sound as they kind of dance across these vines. A few of them reaching up for them, they put a foot on top of the reaching vine as they kind of move away and dance out of the effect of the area. You can still do other things if you have the ability. Children.
Nah, I have nothing useful.
Okay, Thrak.
I think I'm losing my mind. I don't know what's going on. I can hear literally all the thoughts in the forest at the same time right now.
Yeah.
Don't
I
go
have no idea
anywhere.
what's happening
I
around me.
command them.
Can I try to resist against this? frozenness?
You do it at the end of your turn. So
Okay.
yeah, you can. That'll be now.
Okay. What am I rolling?
A wisdom saving throw.
22.
You are free. It's the end of your turn. I need
Okay.
everyone to make me con saves. The two sisters dance out of the way of each other, out of the way of the vines. The green foliage that was on them dies. It withers before your eyes. The skin that's on them, while pale and they looked a little sickly before, it just gives way. They now look completely haggard. They look as if they've had all of the moisture drawn from their body to a degree. The skin kind of pulled taut against the bones. Their fingers dance upwards as the two of them move away. But at the same time, for the first time, you hear the voice of Morgana as she begins to sing. She sings in this horrible pitch, this off-key note that it's not a word, they're not singing words, but the two of them begin to sing at the same time. These kind of weird undulating notes as they move away from each other. I won't attempt to do it. And as they do so, everybody here is caught under the effects of the things they're trying to do here. So you've got to beat a 15, or you take or half. So this is the first one from Elaine, a 12, and this is the second one from Morgana, a 17. This is necrotic damage, and they are pulling the fluid from your body. Regardless of how much damage this does to you, you suddenly feel this horrible sensation as the fluid is drawn from your body through your mouth, nose, ears, eyes, and pores. As they drag some fluid from you, while this music is, the way that they're singing and they're dancing away from you, this is dragging and siphoning just fluids from you, all types of fluids. So enjoy that visual. And those of you that roll, in fact, you can roll another con save for the second one. So the first 12 there is the cons that you've done here. So Thrak and Seer, you fail, you take half. Jildan and Cirrus, you've made it, so you you take half, sorry. Thrak and Seer, you take the full 12. Jildan and Cirrus, you take 6. Now roll me constitutions for the second one, because this would be 2 different attacks.
Oof, 11.
Oh, 3.
10.
So a round of fails there, so you take the full 17 necrotic damage for the second one.
What have you been hiding? You harlots!
We have been working for a very long time to try and make our way into this place. We had to do it. We didn't want to do it, but we had to do it. You almost... half of that was spoken and half of it was caught through thought. The we didn't want to is more of a thought and a feeling. You get this kind of sense of their voices. They're continuing to kind of move away from you. I think Seer, if you want, you can take a reaction and try and strike one of them, because I think they both dance away from the group here.
I would try to, yes.
You can do that. You can have an attack of opportunity.
Okay. At the one that has been fairy fired, yes?
Yeah.
Or a 14 to hit.
14 is a miss, unfortunately.
Yeah.
She's dancing in a bizarre way, and you just swipe and miss her. Okay. Now we're gonna roll some initiative, unless you want to keep this turn order, where we just go with you 4 and then them 2.
Works for
I
me.
mean, Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. Free flowing.
Yeah. I'll just allow that then. Any one of you four can go now. You can pick your own.
All right.
Okay. I would immediately slam my hand to the ground and cast Aura of Life. So we get resistance to necrotic damage. Hit point maximum can't be reduced. Yeah.
Yep.
And then I would cast Mass Healing Word as a bonus action for all of us. We each get 6 healing.
Okay.
And that's it for me.
There you go. So she does that. Who's next?
Me.
I would then.
Get
Okay.
back here. You've had your turn. It's my turn. Get back
Alright.
here.
I'd like to roll
I-
initiative now.
I cast Thorn Whip on the one that Sia tried to opportunity attack and try and pull her back to us on a natural 27
Yeah, I think that was Morgana. So yeah, you can do that.
for 11 piercing damage. And she
yeah.
is pulled 10 foot closer.
Okay, yeah, you pull her close towards you. This deals 11 piercing damage to her. You catch her around the neck. Ironically she does yelp as you grab her, but you hear in her head
Oh, wait,
"Fucking
actually.
turtle."
I think it does double because it's a
Natural 20.
because it's a crit, and also this spell was set up wrong, so it should do another 2d6.
Okay.
It should do. That's another 9 piercing.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh.
Same thing. She's wrenched towards you.
Is she the
It's not
fairy
so
fired one?
fast, you.
Sh- No, I think Elaine was the fairy fired one, right?
Okay.
Let me see, because I've been rolling them. It was the Dex save, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Elaine was fairy fired. Morgana was not.
All right. Then I press on to the fairy fired one in that case, if that's in the Jilden's turn.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Then I press on to Elaine, and I shall swing my quarterstaff at her. At this point, I believe that she should still be ablaze because it's a concentration spell. I mean, I forget how it works. I mean,
It doesn't really do anything. You just see her. But yeah, you will have advantage.
yeah.
Yeah, she's still fairy fired.
Okay. Then 17 to hit
That hits.
for 6 points of bludgeoning damage.
Smacks her. Yeah.
Okay.
She tries to avoid it, but you collide with.
All right. At this point, I'm now going to invoke this for the first time. Stunning Strike. So starting at 5th level, I can interfere with the flow of ki in an opponent's body. When you hit another creature with a melee weapon attack, you can spend 1 ki point to attempt a Stunning Strike. They must succeed on a Constitution saving throw, be stunned until the end of my next turn.
Guess what?
Mm-hmm.
You strike her. You strike. I'm imagining that this does something where you're hitting this pressure point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Her key's all wrong. There's something horribly wrong with her. As you strike her, she just continues to move freely. As this, whatever she is, whatever she's become,
Okay.
these rules don't seem to apply to her anymore. Unfortunately, they are immune to stun.
Okay, immunity. Got you. Alright. In that case, I press the attack with an extra attack. For a 13 to hit.
You have advantage.
Oh, sorry, yes. 11.
It would be a 13.
Man.
No, that's a
Yeah.
miss.
Okay. In which case, I then now go into my flurry of blows as I press on the attack for a 23 to hit
23 hits.
for 8 points of bludgeoning damage.
Yep.
And then I'm now going to spend another key point here as I punch to open up my palm just before I strike, and key flows from me towards her, and she must succeed a dexterity saving throw, be knocked prone.
19.
A 19 succeeds, but I keep attacking, and I shall punch one more time for my rolls today. An average of 5.
Another miss. I think we see the two of these. She's actually kind of countering some of your strikes as you're punching her. Again, these don't have their weapons drawn. They're just dancing and moving out of the way of these vines rushing up towards them. You then start throwing all of these strikes. One of them, you strike this point where you know this will at least slow this person down, but it doesn't, which I think sort of takes you by surprise, and you just a natural sort of straight punch afterwards, and she's blocking them and dodging them and weaving out of the way of them. You can hear her thoughts, and again, I think it's more like a feeling. She has similar training to you in a way, the way that she's sort of been trained over the years by different people. You get the sense that part of her training was in this kind of CQC, this hand-to-hand thing, which is why she's kind of vaguely avoiding your things. But you also feel her reading your movements, so she's kind of expecting where this punch is coming from. She's moving out of the way of some of these punches because she knows that you're about to strike here and do this there. So it's quite hard as you're getting this influx of different information and also sort of realizing that she's moving before you're even throwing the punch. Okay, is that the end of your turn?
That is my turn, yes.
Okay, so Thrak.
Yeah, I think I'm just... I think I probably fall to the ground. I'm on all fours. Water has just been taken out of my eyes, my nose, my mouth, probably through my skin. All these voices are going on in my head, and I'm probably screaming, which I will spare you all, but very much not able to act.
Okay. Let's see here. So let's have you hear the two of them shout at each other, "Control them!" And let's see. Let's have Jilden and Sia make me wisdom saving throws. Sia, I think you have advantage on this for some elven bullshit. What's elven charm based advantage?
Oh yes, of course. I do in
I
fact
think he
have
can
something.
be charmed.
I think you can. I think he gets advantage if you're fighting.
I have advantage on saving throws from being charmed. And magic can't make me sleep.
Yeah, okay, so you have
Because I
advantage on this. Jilden, just make me a whiz save.
8.
19.
8 is a fail, 19 is a pass. So, the crown of foliage that they were wearing on their heads that turned immediately blackened and turned to dead leaves, you see a crown of foliage appear around Jilden's head here as they cast Crown of Madness on you, or one of them does. You are charmed by Morgana. The charmed target must use its action before moving on each of its turns to make a melee attack against a creature other than itself that you mentally choose. The target can act normally on its turn if you choose no creature or none within its reach. You're being commanded to attack Cirrus. Sia, you immediately, you know what's coming. You just, the two of you are fighting here, and she immediately looks at you. You hear her mutter something under her breath. You see her hand come up as she provides the somatic component of this. And as she turns her hand around to try and create this crown on your head, you do whatever you do to counter the effects of this spell, and you're not affected by it. It is now, once again, anyone on your team's turn.
She's lunging at me, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Jilden would be moving towards you, yeah.
Who
There you
Morgana cast it, right?
What's your AC?
Oh,
Cirrus?
my AC is 17.
Jilden's enormous claw goes just at the last second. You avoid this claw come down, and you recognize suddenly that Jilden is rushing after you. You see this crown around her head, but her eyes are kind of glowing red with this kind of strange spell. She's clearly been charmed, and she's under some sort of spell by one of them. You kind of glance in the background, and you can see Morgana. Elaine and Sia are engaged on one side of you. On the other side of you, you can see Morgana she's continued to dance backwards, but you can see her hand moving through the air, sort of controlling Jilden's actions with this spell.
And all of my thoughts have gone quiet.
Yeah, her thoughts have vanished. But you can hear the thoughts of everyone else still, somewhat.
Okay. I am going to... I'm going to try and hit Morgana with Guiding Bolt.
Okay.
It's a 12.
The 12 is a miss.
It's a miss.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, again, she's just dancing. This guiding bolt comes down. She kind of, like, has to really dodge this to get out of its way. But you see her just dance clear of it as the dirt and grass is torn up in the area.
Okay. Yeah. And then I am going to cast Sanctuary on myself.
Okay.
So, creatures have to make a wisdom saving throw to attack me. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sia?
I take it Elaine is still within range of me, or has she run?
No. You guys are still fully engaged.
Alright, well in that case, I shall continue then pressing the attack with my quarterstaff. I swing at her. What are these rolls, man? Like, again, with advantage, and I don't roll higher than a 5. 12 to hit.
Miss.
Alright, oops, I didn't mean to do that. And then, again, for a 20 to hit, dirty 20.
20 hit.
5 points of bludgeoning damage.
Yeah, you strike her again. You sense that she's trying to read your movements. You do a little drunken swing. She's not expecting it. You crack her. You feel her ribs buckle under the strike there.
Okay. Once I find that hit, find purchase, I then continue with a flurry of blows. I expend a key point, and then my punches have purple after images as I just strike towards her face. For a 26 to hit.
26 hits.
10 points of bludgeoning damage.
10 points of bludgeoning damage. Another one. You sort of do another kind of bizarre twist, and then you just oddly launch an elbow forward. A completely unnatural move, maybe, but she's not expecting it, and you just crack her across the chin.
As it
She
finds
stumbles.
purchase, I twist my hand upside down, and she needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
A 4, a natural 1, actually. So
She gets knocked prone.
yeah, she gets thrown to the ground. She rolls over a few times. Her thoughts are all over the place. She doesn't know what to do, what's going on. She's starting to panic a little bit. Okay. Is that the end of your turn?
Alright. Nope, I have one last move. And so now in like a horse riding stance, I just strike down to the ground for a 9 to hit. What is
9.
going on with my
As
rolls?
she's
I rolled a
rolling
2.
over. You get this. You
Two
finally
twos.
feel as though you have the advantage here. And so your thought is very clear, and you telegraph it to her, and she just rolls out of the way as you come down with
Amazing.
this final strike.
That's my turn.
Okay, Thrak.
Yeah, can I use my action to try to gain control of the voices in my head?
Yeah, I think you probably can. Make me a charisma save.
Okay, this should go great. I'm going to use my inspiration to make it normal roll instead of disadvantage.
Okay. By the way, he got that inspiration
A
while we were
5.
playing PUBG the other day. A 5 is a fail. You hear a voice in your head say,
Tell them to get away from the witches.
Do I recognize this voice?
not at all.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to keep freaking out on the ground.
Yeah, okay. That it? Is that the end of the turns?
Yep. That's all of us, because Jordan's mind controlled.
Right.
Or charmed.
Yeah, okay.
Does children have to roll a save at the end of a turn or no?
Jildan can make a wisdom saving throw at the end of your turn, yes.
16.
Fail. You're still charmed.
Oh.
Wow.
I think at this point, everyone needs to make me a con saving throw as Morgana begins to try and siphon the fluid out of you again.
10.
You have to beat
Nasty.
a 15. Now, you do have Cirrus's bullshit here.
Yeah.
Oof,
What does
thank
Cirrus's
God.
BS do?
You take so
Half or
yeah, half. So Seer failed. Thrak, give me a con save. Jildan made it, Cirrus made it, Thrak fails. So Thrak and Seer would take the full 21, but it's halved, so you only take 10. Jildan and Cirrus, you'll take 5 necrotic damage. Again, you feel just life and fluid being pulled from you towards Morgana, who's dancing freely to one side of you.
She
Elaine
casts
is
cholera.
kind of somewhat messed up, and she's rolling around on the ground down there. Yeah, there's not a lot I think she can really do to you here. So I think she's probably just going to try and hit you with another Crown of Madness, to be honest. So make me a whiz save again with advantage, please, Seer.
Okay, wisdom save with advantage. A 10.
Yeah.
Another yeah.
She
whatever.
rolls over and you see her bring this hand back up. It turns in the air and this crown of leaves appears around Seer's head. This time as she closes her hands, you see Seer's eyes kind of glow with a red as she sort of takes control of him. And she commands you to turn around and engage with Cirrus as well. And she starts kind of rolling and moving backwards away from you guys. Cirrus and Jildan, you can go first.
Alright, well, I swipe once again at Cirrus.
Okay, Cirrus,
At
on one
21.
side of you, a claw
you
comes
have to
down.
make a. She has to make a wisdom saving throw because I have sanctuary
Correct.
on me.
Yeah, make a whiz save, Jildan.
It's a natural one.
Yeah.
That's a fail.
You can't attack her,
So
which
you
means
have to.
you've got to attack Thrak.
With a 21. With Thrak.
Yeah, that definitely hits.
I think
6.
yeah. Thrak, suddenly Jildan's claw poof, bats you. The thoughts in your head are like all over the place. You're hearing strange thoughts. You're hearing the thoughts and feelings of hummingbirds, of sparrows, of little bugs moving around. There's this other voice that is sort of speaking at you, and you can hear it saying,
Tell them to move away.
but you just can't concentrate on anything, as well as the voices of these crew, your own crew, and then bang, you're just struck, spinning one way by Jildan. Sia then descends on Cirrus as well, I assume. Jildan made
Now
me
I'm
a whiz
sprinting
save.
at Thrak.
Okay, well, you were commanded to attack Cirrus.
Oh, okay, alright.
So you need to make a whiz save. Also, Jildan, you need to make a whiz save to try and break free of the thing.
23.
You're out of it. Yeah, you strike Thrak, and then your
I'm on my knees in front of him.
Yeah.
Like, how did I get here?
Is it just
Yeah,
a
I
singular
like
attack?
roll
or-
over on my back. Don't have my staff in my hand, and I'm just think I'm clutching my temples right now, writhing on the ground.
Yeah, a single attack.
Okay. Well, I suppose first of all I have to make a wisdom save because of sanctuary.
Correct.
But with an 18, I punch her in the face.
Yeah, I think you do.
Yeah, that passes. Well, yeah.
You have to roll.
You
punch
attempt to
right?
you attempt to punch me in the face.
Quite.
This is why your rolls are good.
Right? I'll be so pissed. But like, so for
You get a
this, am I
natural
using
20 here.
am I using
You're
my
out of
full
campaign.
like my full like rotation? Or
Yeah,
just one
probably.
attack?
I mean, I would
Attacking
imagine
once,
you would
or
be
is he doing all of his monk bullshit?
He just gets. It just says make
18
a
to hit.
single melee attack. So I'd
Okay,
probably be
single melee
close, though.
attack it is.
Yeah.
18
to
hits.
hit. Okay, that's 10 points of bludgeoning damage.
Kadoosh!
Okay.
You're struck as well. Make me a whiz save to try and break free of it.
Okay. 20.
You break free of it. There is a crackling to the air around you. The meadow that you're in, the kind of area that you're in, gets bright. Starts getting very bright. Cirrus and Thrak, you still have turns.
Ah.
Thrak's just going
Nothing.
crazy on
I'm
the
just
ground.
I'm on the ground. I'm holding my
What's wrong
head.
with you?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Ah, I can hear everything.
Yeah.
Screaming. And
Just
also
stop.
bleeding from turtle claws.
And that one's
Can we-
Clear turtle gash.
We can
Oh.
we can still hear stuff, right? But
Yep.
because we rolled for the control of it,
You can choose to not be inundated by every thought around you.
But mechanically,
Yeah,
you
I
never
think
said
I-
that, did it?
No, but I like that.
I
it
haven't-
does
yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
I think I would still be keeping thoughts going between the four of us and the other two. I would just not be trying to control the sounds of like the forest or the bugs or anything.
Yeah.
Is there any chance that I can hear the guy that Thrak is speaking to Thrak? Can I roll to see if
no,
that
but-
enters my mind? No.
well,
Okay.
Yeah, no.
I don't want to
no,
meta.
don't think so.
Yeah, I don't want to meta it. That's the only thing.
No, yeah. No, I don't think you can.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So I'm going to.
Basically, he's level
Cast-
20 ESP and you're level 1 ESP, and the guy.
Yeah,
is
perfectly
doing,
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's totally fine. I'm gonna attempt to do guiding bolt again at Morgana. 20.
20 will hit.
Okay. And I'm gonna cast that at level 3. So that is that amount of damage.
16 plus the 7, yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
That's
so
correct.
yeah, 23 radiant damage as Morgana is kind of moving. The two of them look like they're still trying to get away from you, back away from you.
Yeah.
Elaine kind of standing up. She's got a few hits to her. Morgana looking pretty much brand new, apart from the fact that they both look very unwell anyway. And then this guiding bolt comes down and just smites her, basically. You see her spun for the first time. She spins around with this sort of attack. And then the entire meadow explodes into light as a... You're all, I think, potentially you're all blinded here. In fact, make me Constitution saving throws. I'm going to make them for the other two as well.
Does it matter if my eyes are
5.
closed?
It does. If your eyes are closed, I think you don't need to worry. You're not going to be blinded here.
Okay.
Oh my god. Our rolls.
I'm
That one.
staring at Thrak, trying to get him to snap out of it.
Yeah,
Pay attention to me.
Yeah, Jildan, you're not looking directly at this when it happens, but I think because Sirius and Sierra may be more concentrated on the elves, that they are sudden. You're literally blinded for 1 minute. Now the elves, one make, one fail. They take 37 radiant damage as a fucking column of light strikes them. Elaine, the one that Seer was fighting with, is eradicated. She is just turned to ash in this light. Everything, clothes, everything, just vanishes. You hear, the four of you, a screech from, and this is mentally, from Morgana as her sister is obliterated. She is struck by all of this damage, spinning around and rolling into the ground. The four of you are not looking right now at this, right? Two of you are blind. She's away from you. She is going to run. She starts running, and she runs very fast. She's
blind?
She is blind. And you know what? I wonder if... Do you know what she does? She's going to cast Lesser Restoration on herself. You see her hold her hand over her eyes. When she brings her hand away, her eyes have this kind of green energy around them, and she looks at you and turns and begins running. So she actually only runs half as far as she was going to go, but she starts running. She is now 35 feet away from you. And well, she was already she's maybe about 45 feet away from where you are, because she was kind of away from the fighting and moving on her turns
she was
anyway.
Roped in with that one thing. Oh yeah, she moved doing her turns away from us as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all she does. If you want to do any ranged bullshit right now. Remember, two of you are blinded, so I don't think you're even aware she's running.
Yeah, well, I reach up and I cast Lesser Restoration on myself.
You're welcome for the clue as to
Thank you.
how to
Yes.
deal with this. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm no longer blinded.
Great.
Yeah.
Yep. That's your action. Your bonus action.
And then I am going to cast another mass healing word on us all. For 8. Each of us get 8.
Okay. Jildan and Sia, neither of you are Crown of Madness did. Jildan, you're not blind. Sia, you are.
She's 35 foot away now.
About 45 feet away.
I'm gonna try and run close enough to Thorn Whip her again. I have 30 foot range on the Thorn Whip.
Okay.
So I will do that. Try and bring her closer. Oh, that's a 9.
Yeah, she's stumbling all over the place as she's running. It's like a chaotic, just running away from a monster in the woods type situation. She doesn't have quite as much grace as she's had the entire time. She's just fleeing. All you can hear from her, and it is, which she is getting further away, so the ESP is not quite as intense, but it's just a screaming. And even tapping into it a moment, you just feel just such a deep sense of loss and sadness and fury. But she's just running away from you right now. But it's kind of a chaotic running, so trying to throw this whip towards her is just, I guess, hard to do. Okay, Sia.
I can't see anything, and I'm sure I'm even more susceptible to whatever that was. I'm not sure if I could do anything. So instead, I'm going to take a very deep breath and expend a key point in order to use wholeness of body and heal myself.
Okay.
And that'll be my action.
Thrak. The voice continues to speak to you, but amongst all of these different voices, it's hard to concentrate on. But you hear it saying to you through this,
Concentrate only on your heartbeat.
it's up to you whether you do this, whether you hear it, whether you're able to, how you want to approach this.
I just did a wisdom save with disadvantage because I'm exhausted and I got an 8.
Okay. Yeah. The elf reaches up. All of you see her wrench at the sky, and as she grabs at the air above her, she grabs at the fact that you can see this energy, right? And you see her grab what looks like a bunch of thread in the air. As she pulls down, it becomes more visible as she wrenches at the thread and the weave that allows you to get in and out of this place, tearing at this arcane energy. She opens the way to leave the House of Knowledge and passes out of the House of Knowledge and back into the Nolan's forest. Thrak is still freaking out on the ground. You guys are kind of messed up. As you turn around and try and gather your thoughts and figure some stuff out, another figure moves through the underbrush behind you. You can hear it now. Something was crashing through the forest, rushing towards you. The sound of kind of hooves and breaking of like twigs and things, suddenly breaking and cracking through a particular sort of set of small trees and bushes and things, is this kind of like golden creature. You see this resplendent looking stag break through and look towards the area where you are. This kind of ethereal looking shimmering creature emerges, standing, looking left and right. Its body is like perfect, just sleek and delicate all at once. Its fur is sort of woven from daylight, completely radiating. Its eyes are huge and luminescent, and they fix the area that you're on. And the creature says,
She is gone. I have been sent by him to bring you to Caradwin.
and that's where we're going to end today's session.